Hello and welcome to the Unit 6 Section 2 video on solving by graphing. So we're going to solve our system of equations by creating a graph, and once we draw that graph, we will be able to see where they cross, or if there's parallel lines, or if the lines are the same. So we can graph each function by hand by making sure it is slope-intercept form, and then we can put both functions into a Desmos calculator to determine what our solution is as well. So those are kind of our options here as we go through. So let's start with a couple of examples. Starting with example 1. So with the first equation, this is no problem to graph. We've got our y-intercept and we've got our slope. Our y-intercept is 3, so I'm just going to plot that. And our slope is 2. So we can kind of sketch out a rise of 2 or run of 1 going in each direction. And once we have our points sketched out, it's just a matter of drawing the line. So there's our first line. Let me just straighten that up just a little bit more. You want to be very specific about how you graph these lines because we have to see where they cross to get the solution. So I highly recommend using a straight edge. All right, for the other equation, we need to solve this for y. So first thing I'm going to do is subtract 8x from each side. And then we're going to divide everything by -4. So that gives us y equals 8 divided by 4 is 2. Oops. Is 2. X 12 divided by 4 is 3. And so if we graph this one, it's going to be in the exact same spot because we have the exact same equation. So here we have infinite solutions. All right, let's take a look at number 2. Number 2, both are in y equals in slope-intercept form, so that makes it easy for us. Our first y-intercept is at -5, so we're going to put that there. And then we're going to graph our slope of 1. And so that's going to have us going through about like this. Make sure it's all accurate here. Our second line also has a y-intercept of 5, but a slope of -2. So let's plot a few points. Down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. Same going the other direction. And we can plot our line from that. And where do the two cross? Well, at 0, -5. Now, you may have already figured, well, of course that's where it's going to be. Because they both have the same y-intercept, that is obviously where they're going to cross. But we still want to graph the lines to make sure that we don't have the same line. Okay, that we don't have the same line like we did in example 1 there. All right, moving on to example 3. Here we have slope-intercept form again. Remember, f of x is just another way of saying y. So we have y equals x minus 6 and y equals x plus 2. So let's do -6 first as our first y-intercept. Our slope is going to be 1. So let's go ahead and graph that. By now, you've probably graphed enough slopes of 1 to know that you're just going diagonally through the grid. Okay. And then we've got a y-intercept of 2 and a slope again of 1. So let me make sure I graph this properly through the grid points. Through the grid. And you'll notice that we have parallel lines. So therefore we have no solution. And here's another thing to kind of keep in mind. If you have the same slope but different y-intercepts, then you're going to have parallel lines, because if you have the same slope, you're going to have parallel lines. And if they have different y-intercepts, then you're going to have those parallel lines be in different locations. All right, last example. Both of these need to be rearranged. So let's start with this one. This first one, we're going to subtract the 2x from each side. So we get 3y equals negative 2x plus 12. And then we're going to divide everything by 3. So that's going to give us y equals negative 2/3 x plus 4. Let's go ahead and rearrange this other equation. So if we subtract the 2x from each side, you get negative 2x plus 4. And then divide everything by negative 1, you get 2x minus 4. So now that we have our two equations, let's graph them. So we have 4 as our y-intercept for the first one. We have a slope of negative 2, 3. So down 2 over 3, down 2 over 3, down 2 over 3. We can go up 2 and back 3, up 2 and back 3, up 2 and back 3. Okay, so let's graph that line. Let me make it just a little bit more accurate. And then let's graph the other one. Our y-intercept is negative 4, and our slope is 2, so we're going to go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. And you can go the other direction as well. And we're going to graph that line. And where do the lines meet? At 3, 2. So our solution here is going to be 3, 2. All right, so that gives you an idea of how to solve by graphing. What you do when you get parallel lines or the same line. You just simply state no solution or infinite solutions respectively. If you have the lines cross, you give me the coordinates in which the lines cross. All right, that does it for section 2. Coming up in section 3, we're going to get into doing a little bit of algebra again, and we're going to solve by substitution.